Okay, good morning. Eric Arnold here in the Politics Barn. Monday, September 16th, another assassination attempt on President Trump. That's going to be our topic today. We're going to touch on this potential ABC scandal that may or may not come to fruition. We're going to touch on that. But hey, a whole episode I guess we could get out of an assassination attempt, although really at this point the Democrats have already basically said, oh, that never happened. It's like, here's again, in the first assassination attempt, I think I walked you through my thought process, and I'm going to do the same right now. It comes up and I'm watching football and it's brought to my attention that something happened, and I flip over and to Fox News, and I ascertain that the president is alive. I'm like, all right, well, we'll figure that one out later. Back to watching football, which I might add never broke in, never disrupted their programming for another massive political event. Which has, I guess, since these last two attempts, there hasn't been an assassination attempt in what, 40 years, I guess, since Reagan? I'll have to double check that if there wasn't some aborted attempt in the interim. But, and it's just like everyday stuff almost. It's almost like, yeah, some crazy guy. And then I start thinking about it. Last night, overnight, I started thinking about this, and I started to get mad. And you should be getting mad around this time too. And one of the other things that is in my mind, and I admit I have a fault with this, is I was right. So somewhere deep down inside here, I'm happy I'm right, because I told you people there'd be another attempt. I was certain of it. And I know a lot of yous were like, oh, that was just a one-off wacko, that guy on the roof, and that was just, No. These guys are ringing the dinner bell for any leftist wacko to come take a shot at President Trump. The leftist media has basically designated him as somebody to be killed because he's that dangerous. The Secret Service has told the whole world, hey, we can't protect him. What are you going to do? They're ringing the dinner bell. And sure enough, here you get another guy who takes a shot. Well, that part's on, he certainly wanted to take a shot. That part's yet to be, I haven't heard one way or the other who did the shooting yet. Yeah, I'm sitting there going, well, I told him. Again, Eric's right. Again, just like I almost always am, with this stuff, and no one listens. So, so that part of me, I admit, was kind of like, yeah, all right, I was right. But overnight now, I started to get angry. I had to listen to a number of Democrats here in the past few days, and they're out there. I've been driving around the neighborhood trying to figure out by road or lawn signs, where's Trump at here? Here in the swingiest of all swing states, Pennsylvania. This is ground zero for this election, right here where I'm standing. Eastern Pennsylvania, ground zero. And I think he's doing better than he did in 2020. There were a number of Biden-Harris signs up at this point 4 years ago. And I go back to those same houses, and they don't have signs up yet. Only one does. One. I've seen 2 Harris signs in the neighborhood, if you will. And that's going all the way over across the river into the adjacent precincts. The number of Trump signs, I would say at least 30. So that number outstrips what was going on last time. There was, I don't know, I would say it was probably 2 to 1. that many Biden signs compared to Trump signs. Now, this is Trump, in where I live, is Trump. I would say 65-35 Trump. In the adjacent precincts, you're getting into McMansionville over there, that's Bidenville. There it's more like 55-45 Trump. If you get into McMansionville, there it's probably 2-1 Biden. Rich people are Biden voters. Now Harris voters. So that's kind of where you're at there. But 30-2 right now, Trump signs to Harris signs. So I feel okay about that. But then, I've seen, I go to my bar, the bartender's a Trump hater, my wife's uncle, he's a Trump hater. I play cards. At least 2 of the people that came from Harrisville, across the river, they're Trump haters. It's just a little discouraging. It's like, well, they're definitely out there. They may not have signs in their lawns. Maybe they're embarrassed by their own candidate, but they're out there. They're definitely out there. And I'm thinking about these people who just laugh, just laugh right in your face about your candidate and think it's not going to piss you off. It's like, you know what, I'm getting tired of you guys taking shots at my candidate. I really am. Maybe you could feel just a little bit embarrassed when crazies on your side of the aisle are trying to win the election with a bullet. So, perhaps today is the day that I go ahead and mention to some people that are Harris voters, you tried to kill my candidate again. That happened, and I predicted it would, because you didn't take the first attempt seriously. You can't reasonably expect that anything that's come out of the Butler, Pennsylvania attempt has been serious. There's been nothing come out of that, nothing. The leader of the Secret Service, after 10 days, resigned. Had she any self-respect or integrity, she would have resigned immediately. Instead, she stayed there for 10 days to catch the bullets of criticism, and then she stepped down in a political move just so it could look like they're doing something. And they promote the guy who operationally set up the Butler failure. So it's like you got the fox scared in the hen house. The Secret Service hasn't done a goddamn thing from where I could see. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Here, I will now show you how ridiculous the Secret Service coverage of Donald Trump is. You haven't seen this anywhere else yet. From what I can tell, this is brand new stuff. I haven't uncovered new facts. I've simply taken what's out there and pieced it together. This may or may not be right, but I think it is pretty close to accurate. All right, so what happened yesterday? Well, early afternoon, and pay attention, subscriber F, you're going to get an assassination golf episode. An assassination golf episode. What more could you want? So, what? 1:30. Apparently Donald Trump doesn't watch NFL football. Good for him. He goes out and gets exercises and plays golf. So he goes out to play his round of golf at his course, the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida, which is about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 miles from Mar-a-Lago. Now, his club is located at the corner of Summit Boulevard and South Congress Avenue in West Palm Beach, facing north. This map is facing north. So you get up here, this is Pennsylvania up here, this is Cuba down here, over here is the Atlantic Ocean for you geographically challenged people. Trump was, I guess, between holes 4 and 5. Now, based on what the statement of Trump, he said, I didn't want to come off because, this is, he's, joking or what, maybe he's telling the flat truth, where he said, I didn't want to come off because I was even and I had a birdie putt on 5. 5, looking at the website of Trump International, where they give you a virtual tour of the course, and it looks beautiful. You know, if you ever have the money to play a course like that, I personally I'm not good enough to appreciate a course like that, so I would never do that. But number 5 is a par 3 hole. That means it's short. That means you can reach the green with one shot. It's about 175 yards. So Trump is probably, and this little dotted line here, that's the cart path. So he's in his little cart driving up to the green where his ball is on number 5. So here's Trump. Here, we'll put a little box right there. Roughly speaking, we think that's where Trump is. That's where Trump is. This is the tee-off area of the 6th hole. So you finish up on the 5th hole, you drive over here to the 6th hole, you tee off, coming south. It's a dog leg to the right. That means the hole is to the right of the tee-off box. This is a lake. This body, this thing, water. That's water. That's water. So you would tee off at 6, coming down here, there. Now you can play the ball here, play it safe, and do it that way. If you're a big hitter, this is a par 4. It's only about 220 to here. What does that mean? 220 yards. So I can hit the ball 220 yards. I just can't hit it straight 220 yards. So if I got lucky, I might be able to carry the water and put it there. Or you can just whack it over here and play it safe. Now what's this? This is a street. This is a public street, which is open to the public, not closed off, public. People are driving cars on this street. What divides this dotted line, that's the cart path, what divides the dotted line, the cart path, where Donald Trump is riding, as one of the most powerful people in the world, riding in his little golf cart, between him and the public street? Well, a hedge, and a fence, a chain link fence, and a hedge, which is about 15 feet high. And it's pretty thick. You know, it's pretty thick that you can't see through it. Now, I think if you've got a mind to, you could probably get through it. You know, a person could probably get through those bushes to the chain link fence. But then there's a chain link fence there. So, you know, you're stopped by a chain link fence. So that divides, and the space between the two, I'm going to say it's about 30 feet, maybe 30 feet. Yeah, certainly less than the distance between home plate to the pitcher's mound. Maybe 60, that's 60 feet, so less than that. So pretty much you got the big ass hedge there with the chain link fence, and right on the other side, I mean right on the other side, within a matter of feet, is little Donald Trump with his golf cart. So I think asshole assassin Ryanralth, 58 years old, I believe he is set up here, somewhere in this area, on Summit Boulevard. He parks his car here on Summit Boulevard, open to the public. He goes through the bushes, up to the fence, makes himself a little nest there with his AK-47, and he has got a clean look at Donald Trump up here on the 5th green. Nothing in front of him. This is fairway. This is lake. There's nothing here. No trees are here. He's got a clean look at Donald Trump from about, I don't know, less than 400 yards, I would say. Less than 400 yards. So you snipers, you marksmen, you gun people out there, you tell me, is that an easy shot or is that not an easy shot? That I don't know. He's further away than Crooks was at Butler, but it's a wide open look. You know, he certainly has a good view of the president. And now what happens next, that we're not quite sure yet. One thing could have happened was that a Secret Service person, I guess there's an advance team or scouts or guys out there, you know, doing something, we hope. Somebody saw this guy, you know, as Donald Trump is cruising up to the 5th green, and they shot at him. You know, maybe they had little binoculars, they're sitting over here. Maybe they're cruising up in their little golf cart here in advance to make sure somebody's just not there exactly as this guy was and says, holy shit, there's a guy there. So they fire on him and he takes off. We think that could be what happened. He may have gotten some shots off. We're not sure yet. That I haven't heard definitively reported. And that's one you're just going to have to wait till the authorities tell you whatever they're going to tell you, because nobody really, from the public, this is all private property here. This box, that's the golf course. So there's nobody out there that's not inner Trump people or government employees for the Secret Service. So we're never going to find out unless they tell us whether this guy get any shots off or not. Now what happened was when this guy took off, a smart, quick-thinking citizen took a picture of his Nissan, I guess he had a Nissan SUV, a black Nissan SUV, and they took a picture of it with the license plate, and that is what enabled the state of Florida authorities to catch him so quickly. Had that quick-thinking citizen not done that, this cocksucker would probably be off in the wind somewhere, waiting for the FBI to bring him in, which could have been a very long wait. So somebody really helped out the cause here by capturing this motherfucker. Now, who is this bastard? Well, he's a foreign agent. This guy is an agent of the Ukrainian government, I would argue. He's an American citizen. He lives, I guess he used to live in North Carolina. Now he lives in Hawaii. He's some kind of roofer or ham and egg building contractor. But it appears that for the last 2 years, he's done nothing but try to recruit soldiers of fortune to go over and fight the Russians in the Ukraine. That's why I said he's a Ukrainian agent. I mean, the guy, he dyed his hair such that one side was blue and the other side was blonde, i.e. The Ukrainian flag. So this guy, there's an interview out there with this bastard from 2022. I believe he was in Romania at the time. The people doing the interview, as what I saw, was allegedly Newsweek, that I guess a Romanian interviewer who was somehow associated, maybe a stringer or whatnot, associated with Newsweek, was interviewing this guy about what he's doing over in Eastern Europe. What are you doing here, American? Oh, well, I'm here to fight good versus evil, and I came over here to fight. But they told me because I was 56 years old and I have no military experience that they really didn't need me. You know, I wonder if they would need him now. Or maybe they've needed him all along. You know, so he's been running around trying to raise money, recruit people, soldiers of fortune, if you would call them, to go over there and fight the Russians. That's who this guy is. I mean, they pulled down his X and his Facebook, but it was too late. People grabbed it, so we know now who this guy is. They can't lie and make it up. We know. He's a rabid Democrat. He's got a Biden-Harris bumper sticker on the truck sitting outside his Hawaiian house, according to the internet. Now, whether that's his truck or not is an open question. I'm sure it is. He's donated money many times to Democrats, small amounts, but he has only to Democrats. So there's no question. He's had multiple anti-Trump posts on social media, how he hates the guy. So there's no question who this guy is. It's not like this Crooks guy where he seems to be this seemingly mysterious force of nature that nobody to this day knows anything about, which is bullshit. The government knows exactly who Crooks is. They've just decided not to tell us, while they're either covering up who he is, making up a story who he is, or both at the same time. But this guy, we know exactly who he is. He's a Trump-hating Ukrainian fanboy who obviously is concerned that that bloodbath is going to be brought to an end once Trump gets into office. So he wants his war to continue. What better way to do that than assassinate the man who's going to put an end to the war? So there you have it. Those are the broad strokes of it. Now, so many questions here, so many questions. This is the joke that Donald Trump can be let out there playing golf, and here's a public street? Are you kidding me? I mean, I swear to God, I would like the Secret Service to explain that one to me. I've crossed paths in my distant past with two people that worked for that agency, and I would love to hear, how does this happen? Explain that to me. It doesn't take that much creativity to figure out how you could kill Trump without even having to shoot him. I mean, hell, you could have an Oklahoma City bombing type deal here, where all you gotta do is run one of them big trucks filled with some kind of ANFO explosives. If you just time it up and are able to get it next to the fence when Trump's driving by, boom! You'd probably get him. How can that be allowed? This guy drives up, parks his vehicle, goes into the weeds, and here you got a 400-yard open look at Donald Trump. I can't understand this. This is insane. But of course, they told us this. They allowed it to happen, and then they told the whole world, oh, and by the way, we can't protect him. And I don't know if that means we can't protect him or we won't protect him. I kind of think it's the second one. I think these jerks are perfectly capable of protecting whoever they want to protect if they have the instructions and the mind to do it. I don't think they do with Trump. They've been told not to do it. And it's probably one of the biggest scandals in American history, but the only way we'll ever get to the bottom of it is if Trump wins the election. Each one of these attempts on his life makes it less likely he's going to win the election. What do you mean by that? He survived. He's going to get more popular. He's going to, is he? Is he? This is going to be forgotten by Tuesday, Judging, he actually got shot in July and was forgotten in 2 weeks. Here, nothing happened. This will be forgotten by tomorrow. Trump, oh, they tried to kill him again? Well, they didn't even get a shot off. Yeah, that's nothing. Not only that, they can't let him win. I mean, I am certain that this guy is known to the government. You can't run around organizing your own little army to go fight in a foreign country, meanwhile doing it as an American citizen without the American government knowing about it. They know who this guy is. Now, so the question is, are they running him? Are they telling him what to do? Maybe, maybe not, don't know, but they most certainly know who this fucking guy is. There's no question about that. So what's the connection there? When are we going to find out about that? We're going to find out about that before November whatever? I doubt it. I doubt it. Now what also, so how you have just a hedge and a fence between Trump and any bad guy, any team of bad guys that want to get at him, I can't imagine it. I just can't imagine that. It's like, it's a joke. Now, one thing they said that I don't know is so strange. Apparently, Trump decided to play golf at the last minute, that his schedule for Sunday had no public events scheduled. So, and then I guess at the last minute he decided, well, let's go play some golf. You know, let's go jam in. You know, a guy like Trump who's good, playing in just him and another guy, they could play a round of golf probably in well under 3 hours, without having to go chase his ball in the weeds and all that. Yeah, well under 3 hours, he could jam in a round of 18. I don't think it's that unusual. In other words, well, there must have been an inside guy. In other words, how did this guy, this cocksucker, how did he know to pull up and park? How long was he there? Because this is a street without parking. So if he's sitting there and he's got his vehicle parked in the lane of traffic, or, you know, up on the curb there, he couldn't be sitting there long without attracting attention. So he couldn't have, you know, he wasn't sitting there all day. He must have got there, I would say, within 15 minutes of Trump pulling up here. How did he know? I think a lone guy could have figured that out. I think a lone guy could have maybe figured that out. The more I think about it, you know, when Trump gets to the golf course, right? You know, the giant freaking entourage goes in to the gates. The entrance is down here to the left, you know, down over there. That's where the entrance is. That's where the clubhouse is. So you see him go in there, and, you know, you figure, all right, probably take him this much time to get his spikes on, get dressed, get out there, maybe another 5 holes, 15 minutes to a hole, 10 minutes to a hole, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, he'd probably come cruising up here around this time, you know, and probably within half an hour, you're going to be right. You know, so if this guy's just been hanging out in South Florida waiting for Trump to go down to the golf course to get in around, maybe that's his big chance. Now, of course, another answer would be they do have somebody in on the inside. Somebody on the inside contacted this guy and said, hey, Trump's going to be available at the X-ray spot. You know, they probably have these attempted assassination posts with some cool Tom Clancy name. At the X-ray spot, go to Spot X-ray and conduct Orange Man Bad. You know, that's probably a code word for kill Trump. So, you know, this guy, agent of the CIA, goes on down there, and sure enough, here comes Donald Trump. So he takes his shot if he's able. In this case, he wasn't, and that's that. So you could have either way. It could be either way. I just can't imagine that these streets where Trump is riding 50 feet away from the general public who are not being supervised. No one's watching them. You know, I'm driving my car down here South Congress Avenue, unbeknownst to me, on the other side of this giant hedge, there's the president. You know, I could beat my horn. I could lay on my horn, and Donald Trump would hear it, and he would go, we got to do something about these horns here, and said, we'll do something about that. We'll figure out something. He would hear me laying on the horn. He wouldn't see me because of the giant hedge, but that's how close I could get to the guy. I could hit him with a rock. I could lob a rock up over the hedge and it would land on top of his golf cart. That's how close I am to the guy without the Secret Service intervening. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's on purpose. It's on purpose, for Christ's sake. Nobody's that fucking stupid. Nobody. Now, back to the CIA connections and what have you. This guy definitely could be an agent. You know, what I think is going to happen here, what I think is happening now, is these are not the A-team that they're running at Trump. They're ringing the dinner bell for all the crazies to come out and take a shot at Trump. And what they're doing is they're gauging how the Secret Service reacts. How does Trump's defenses react to the threats? And then they're basically taking notes and just saying, all right, well, it took 10 minutes for that to happen. This could, okay. All right, yeah, well, okay, 3 guys responded there. They don't talk to each other on the radio, we know that. And then they're going to send in the A-team. At some point, they're sending in the A-team. Now, is that definitely going to happen? I don't know. If Trump, they may not be able to hook up the A-team before the election. We're running out of time. Trump loses the election, there's no point in killing him at that point. He probably serves their purposes better alive than dead at that point, because then they can just bat him around the legal system at their leisure and put him in a cage for the rest of his life as an example to the rest of us of, hey, piss off the deep state. Hey, this is what's going to happen to you. Guy, a billionaire living in a cage till he dies. Think what we'll do to you. So that's if he loses. Now, if he wins, yeah, then they're going to institute the A-team. You know, these are amateurs. This clown here, you know, well, he's a military wannabe, but he's an amateur. Crooks was an amateur, despite being a crack shot. Really, Crooks should have succeeded, and it was only through the grace of God that he missed. This guy just was intercepted, I guess, if you will. And if you're saying, well, that's evidence that the Secret Service protections work, I'm not going to go that far. You know, I'm not giving them that much credit. It just seems like this is a ridiculous open shot here for an amateur assassin. What if there was a team of guys? There's no way Trump would survive this setup. There's no way. If the Ukrainians had an actual squad of guys to come over here and take him out, with that setup, like I said, two freaking idiots could pack, you know, Tim McVeigh could pack a Ryder truck full of ANFO, pull it up here to the 6th tee-off spot and blow him the hell up. It would be easy. But, you know, I guess the Secret Service hadn't thought of that or cared to think of that. I'm sure somebody in that agency has thought of it, probably multiple guys, and we're told, no, we don't need to worry about that by their bosses who are either idiots or, more likely, are under instruction to allow those kind of things to be wide open. And when the hit squad from God knows where, whether it be from the Ukraine or it be from the DNC or Harris headquarters or wherever, rolls up to wipe out Trump, then they're going to succeed. Whether that be before or after the election if he wins. He can't be allowed to win because then what if he gets into power and starts pulling on these strings? Some of this is going to come loose. As I said, I'm convinced at this juncture nobody's that stupid, and these doors are being left open on purpose. And I think what their mistake is that the deep state didn't realize how bad the Secret Service coverage was. Otherwise, they probably would have taking a better crack at him at Butler, where they were kind of like, well, we'll send in the crazy kid. You know, he'll miss and he'll get killed, but we'll learn things. And here they find out he almost succeeds himself. They're like, shit, if we had sent somebody a little more seasoned there, we probably would have pulled that one off. I guess that was our mistake. So, you know, like I said, at some point, amateur hour is going to be over, and they are really going to take a run at Trump, and they'll probably get him if this is the best the Secret Service chooses to do. Yeah, Trump, if he was smart, if he wins the election Trump should be bringing in his own people. He should have his own private contractors, people that he trusts involved. I guess that's the problem, is he probably just doesn't have enough people that he 100% trusts to put around him. And he's notoriously cheap, so I guess that's probably another thing. Why should I spend a couple million, well, it'd be more than that, you know, tens of millions of dollars on something that the government's supposed to be doing for me? You know, I could see him thinking that way. So I'm upset. You know, I'm upset. This is not right. This is not the way this country should be going here. Now, I mentioned the ABC scandal. That's another thing where you could say, well, that's awful coincidental here that this Ryanralth decides to try to take a shot at Trump on the weekend after this ABC debate. I mentioned in a previous episode, there's a whistleblower at ABC. The affidavit has now surfaced. Whether it's real or not, we still don't know. But the affidavit alleges that this person is a technical administrative person. That could be, you know, I would read that, not a producer, not David Muir. It's one of the lower level people. That they have recordings of the Harris campaign demanding that certain questions not be asked of Kamala Harris during the debate, that they demanded that Donald Trump be fact-checked in real time as the debate was going on. And it also alleges that Harris was sent sample questions ahead of the debate. The affidavit, allegedly, is dated the day before the debate. And then the I don't know how to pronounce that word, affiant, the witness, allegedly then mailed this stuff out on the 9th, including mailing it to themselves to prove that, hey, I didn't just write this up the day after the debate and backdate everything. Now, we don't know if they actually mailed the stuff out according to the, you know, what they alleged they did. We don't know if they did that. They allegedly sent a copy to the Speaker of the House, Johnson, on the 9th. That's the day before the debate. Everything in the affidavit was proven to happen in the debate. You know, as we saw, no fact checks of Kamala Harris, fact checks left and right of Donald Trump. The questions that they demanded not be asked of Harris were not asked of Harris. Those were no questions about Joe Biden's health and the lies that Kamala Harris told the country about him being sharp as a tack when she knew goddamn well he wasn't. No questions about, I think it's her brother-in-law. You know, apparently she's got a skeleton there with some scumbag relative of hers. And no questions about her tenure as San Francisco DA, which apparently that's, you know, now she's trying to be a Republican, fool the country into thinking she's a Republican. So I guess she doesn't want to talk about her soft on crime DA days. And of course, none of those questions were asked. So what happens now? Well, this person is right now being threatened by ABC News and the deep state. They know who this person is. We may not, but they certainly do. I'm certain of that. And my guess is this is a person, it's a Democrat, almost certainly. Why do you think that? Come on now. This is a person that, according to the affidavit, has worked more than 10 years for ABC, Democrat, lives in the state of New York, Democrat, and now is having some kind of attack of conscience. They're a Democrat, which means they don't have any grasp on reality. And the reality is, if you're going to go strap on your big boy pants and go play in the deep water with the big boys, that means you're going to get threatened. Your family is going to be threatened. And if those threats don't work, they're going to follow through. You are going to be destroyed, whether that means your career is going to be destroyed or you may just be disappeared, killed. If they don't have enough leverage on you and they can't, if you're rich and they threaten to make you poor, maybe that could be enough for you. And you might go, all right, I don't want to be poor. But if you've got nothing to lose, you're a poor person who's got nothing to lose, well, then they got no leverage over you, so then it's just, all right, well, we'll just kill you then. That stuff happens. It happens. People live in this world where they don't think this stuff happens. It does. So right now that's being made clear to this whistleblower who may not have thought that far ahead. They might have thought that there was some movie and they would just come in and heroically tell their tale, or better yet, they're probably thinking, and somehow this will start some big investigation and I will stay out of it. And it's like, well, you're nuts, because the only way this works, the only way this turns into a scandal, the whistleblower has to stand before God and everybody in front of the United States Congress under oath and tell their story and present their secret recordings. They allegedly have secret recordings that show Harris asked for certain questions not to be asked and demanded that Donald Trump be fact-checked. Now, I'm sure that's not Kamala Harris on the phone or on the recordings, but it's high-ups in the Harris campaign. That needs to be brought before the American people under oath. And if that happens, then we've got a major scandal that will probably elect Donald Trump. So suddenly this guy pops up out of the weeds as this potential major scandal is percolating. That's kind of coincidental. That's kind of coincidental. Anyway, pay attention to the ABC scandal. That is where the real news is at the moment. This is just going to go down the crook's rabbit hole, disappear. There'll be an investigation. We'll get back to you later on what we find out. And of course, they never will. So the ABC thing, that is what you need to keep your eye on. Keep your eye on the ball. That is where the scandal could happen that affects this race. And it could break as soon as this week. As soon as the end of the week, you could see a break in that case to blow the election wide open. So, or not, most likely not. We'll see. Like I said, that whistleblower might just go, oh, well, all right, didn't realize you were that serious. Didn't realize we were playing for keeps here. I think it very well could be that, because you're dealing with what's more likely? We got some sudden attack of a conscious, not that bright Democrat that wants to get in the water with the big boys, or some not that, or that bright, smart Democrat that's ready to go to war with half the country. You really think they're ready to go to war with half the country? I don't. I think we're over here with the not that bright Democrat that just decided to, hey, put their Johnson out there and go, all right, let's go for it. And then they're made quickly aware that it's like, no, we're not playing that game. We're playing this game over here. And, so you got to be this tall to ride this ride. You're this tall. You're not even close. You're not even close. So just go away, or we'll make you go away. Okay, and they're going to go away. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm pissed about this assassination attempt. I'm pissed. My free speech allows me to tell you that. Let's hope we still have some free speech in the next year or two. But I'll use it until we do. We don't. Until we don't, I'll keep using it. I'm Eric Arnold, and I'm signing off.